Hey everyone. Welcome back. Today we are looking at something super cool, how we actually ask a graph database to give us information. Have you ever seen a detective movie? The detective stands in front of a giant corkboard. They have photos of suspects pinned to the board. And they use red string to connect the photos together to solve the crime. That is exactly what a graph database is. It is just pins and strings. In database terms, we call the pins vertices and the strings edges. But how do you write code to ask the detective board a question? You can't use standard SQL. Instead, engineers created a brand new language specifically for graphs, called Cypher. It was made for a popular database called Neo4j. Cypher is absolutely brilliant because it is highly visual. Writing Cypher code literally feels like you are drawing little arrows and pictures on your screen using your keyboard. Let's take a look at what drawing with code actually looks like. Look at the code box on the screen. In Cypher, we use normal parentheses to draw a circle around our pins. So we write open parenthesis Lucy, close parenthesis. Then, to draw the red string connecting them, we use square brackets with dashed lines to literally draw an arrow. We say Lucy dash born in arrow pointing to Idaho. It is so clean and easy to read. Even if you are not a programmer, you can look at that line of code and instantly understand that Lucy was born in Idaho. It perfectly matches how our human brains think about relationships. But drawing simple arrows is easy. Let's look at a really hard problem that graphs are famous for solving. Imagine we want to search our giant database to find every single person currently living in Europe. Here is the problem. A user's profile usually doesn't say they live in Europe. It says they live in London. But London is inside England. England is inside the UK. And the UK is inside Europe. The data is nested. Exactly like those wooden Russian nesting dolls, where a small doll is inside a medium doll, inside a big doll. If you don't know exactly how many dolls there are, how do you search it? Cypher handles this with a magic little trick. Look at the code. See that tiny star followed by a 0? That is a variable length path. In plain English, that symbol tells the database, I don't care how many Russian nesting dolls there are. Just keep opening the boxes, following the arrows, until you eventually hit the box labeled Europe. You don't have to tell the computer how to do it. The query optimizer acts like a smart GPS and figures out the fastest way to open the boxes for you. So, the obvious question is, can we just do this in a normal SQL database? Technically, yes. But it is an absolute nightmare. A standard SQL database hates Russian nesting dolls. It forces you to write code that specifies exactly how many boxes are inside each other before you run the search. To get around this, SQL added a terrifying feature called Recursive Common Table Expressions. Look at the gray code on the screen. It is massive, clumsy, and incredibly confusing to read. What took just 3 beautiful lines of arrow drawing in Cypher Takes over 30 lines of messy, repetitive code in SQL. And that is the entire point of this lesson. If your data is highly connected like a spiderweb, don't force it into a table. Use a graph database. And use the right tool for the job. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll catch you guys next time.